I'm about to break down the recent conversation between Coach Prime Deion Sanders and Nick Saban. They talk about NIL, the future of college, football, and many more. While doing this, after I played the video clip, I'm going to give my honest opinion. This is RawTruth Media, so there will not be any sugarcoating. If you disagree, go in the comment section and respectfully give your opinion. But I sugarcoat for no one. And I'll chime in. What's good, everyone? This is RawTruth Media, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Please like and share this video. So I'm about to play the audio clip of Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and Nick Saban. After that, I'll give my opinion. Just know that there will be some things that some of you may agree with me and some may disagree with me, and that's okay. At the end of the day, this creates good dialogue and good conversation. Let's tune in.
Who will surely be in the spotlight all season long. Alabama head coach Nick Saban and Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders, who are promoting the latest college football campaign from Aflac Duck versus Gap Goat. Gentlemen, the college football season, it is here. So excited. And I was debating over which one of you gets the first question. Age before beauty? Age before beauty? I was going to say we agree on this, although we can debate the beauty part. You both are. Coach Saban, you're preseason #1 for the 7th time in your 16 years at Alabama. At this point, 10 days before your first game, I'm dying to know, what's your priority day-to-day, practice, meetings, as you get set for game 1, Utah State?
Well, I think you're always sort of trying to prepare yourself. So we're really full metal jacket into, concentrating and focusing on the details of execution, the discipline that it takes, trying to get more and more players be able to complete a task on a consistent basis so they have a chance to play winning football. So the players have had a great attitude through camp, so hopefully that'll carry over into the season.
Hopefully it will. Again, Utah State, September 3rd, 7:30 Eastern Time. It's on SEC Network. And then the next day, September 4th, Deion Sanders, you have a huge game right out of the gate against the team that's considered your biggest challenger in the SWAC East, Florida A&M. You know them well. Almost exactly a year to the day that you pulled off. Listen, it was a win. It was an ugly win, an important win against them. 7-6 was the final, turnovers, penalties. What should we expect this time around?
Well, fortunately, we get to watch FAMU play this weekend against North Carolina, so we kind of get a cheat sheet, and they don't have one on us. Coach Simmons is a phenomenal head coach. They have a great team with a bunch of guys that are NFL prospects. We can't wait to get down there to South Florida and play. Like Coach Saban says, we're just trying to perfect certain things, that we're trying to do those things consistently. We're trying to just pay close and attention to details and be consistent in all those things that we need to be consistent in that propel us to win this game.
Yeah, and really set the tone out of the gate for both of you. Let's go back real quick to how last year ended, because I'm sure both of you have thought about that a lot. Coach Saban, 1 game away from your 8th national championship, 7th with Alabama. I know how high you set the bar for your team and for yourself personally. You start with 17 players returning from that Georgia game. What did you learn from that game that maybe you've brought to your team this offseason?
Well, I think that we weren't able to finish. I think one of the things you have to do to be a great competitor is when things don't go well in the game, you always got to be able to sort of hit your chest and recenter, refocus your energy so you can play the next play. And being ahead 18-13 with 10 minutes to go in the game, and then giving up, 21 points or something, in the final 10 minutes of the game was really, really disappointing. But I think, players remember their disappointments, which can be used as a really positive motivator, I think, for the future. And hopefully that will help us, this year and doing the things we need to do to have success.
Yeah, and I know when they're in it, you don't even have to remind them of what happened or what didn't happen. Deion, you won SWAC Coach of the Year, just your second season, but I know also that 21-point loss to South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl, that's got to still sting. Your quarterback, your son, Shedeur Sanders, he says he's watched the game a couple times and said he wasn't happy with his performance. You say your team is better this year. How is Shedeur better?
He's better because he has a better offensive line. We changed OCs. We did a lot of changing and soul searching. Like Coach Saban said, we didn't finish whatsoever. No matter how you start, you got to finish anything in life. You just got to put a period or exclamation mark at the end of the sentence, and we didn't do that. And I'm going to take full responsibility for that. Had a long, wonderful season. You got to understand, we only had several guys amongst the team that have won state championships that really won and really understand how to win. Winning is a consistent thing that you do on a daily basis. Small things, getting up on time, being in meetings on time, giving your all on this particular play consistently, and you have a bunch of small wins that culminate some major wins, and that's what we got to do. We got to learn how to win. We won the SWAC championships, cool, but everybody was so celebratory after that. I think we forgot that we had a championship game in Atlanta, and I'm gonna chain all the doors when we make it back this year and let anyone out of that hotel, and to make sure that we are locked in and focused.
Coach Saban, you've got more money, more donations. How close are you to competing with the Georgias and the Nick Saban's Alabamas of college football?
Well, certainly we don't have the resources, and we don't have the roster that they entail. I think it's 22 more scholarships that they're allowed to have than what we would have. So matching up with Coach Saban guys is absurd right now until we get that interior to even think about it, to even fathom that matchup. I would love it in the future. But I don't know when that future would behold. But I'm happy. I'm elated with where we are, what we're doing, what we're accomplishing, and we're pushing the envelope. We have an expectation of greatness. We have an expectation of kids going to the NFL. We have an expectation of these kids going and changing the likes of their communities. We're trying to build men, not just professional football players, but we're trying to raise professionals.
Let's talk about the NIL topic real quick, because obviously it's still a hot one throughout all college sports. And we all know you both were in the headlines, discussing it this summer. And we're not going to go rehash all that. You've been there, done that. I would like to ask both of you, though, what the biggest challenge is with NIL. Coach Saban, if you could start.
Well, I think, first of all, name, image, and likeness is a great opportunity for players to make money. They've always been allowed to work. This is another opportunity to use what they've created on their own, through their own hard work, to be able to earn money, and I think that's a really, really good thing. I think, a couple things are of concern. We allow alumni through collectives to get involved in recruiting and other things. That's always something we've guarded against, in college football. I think, how does it create, what kind of competitive balance are we able to create, if we allow that to happen, which is not going to be great for fans. The best competitive balance you can have, it's like in the NFL, they have rules to create competitive balance, whether it's salary cap, difficulty of schedule, where you draft, where you pick relative to your won-loss record. So those things are important, I think, in creating interest and creating a lot of good matchups, on a national basis. And I also think we don't have any rules in place to protect the players, from people who are trying to get between them and the money. So I think all those things are just some things that, some guardrails would be helpful in terms of the future of college football.
Yeah, this is a work in progress, obviously, for a long time to come. Deion, what do you think, in your mind, the biggest challenge?
First of all, we can't compete. We don't have collectives. We don't have anything like that. We're trying to rally up boosters, and you talk about collectives. So I don't even know the definition of a collective. And it's name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. I'm happy that these kids are getting compensated. But when you talk about name, image, and likeness, I haven't seen anybody on anything. We keep talking about these kids are making millions of dollars. What do they own? Where is the name, the image, and the likeness? Or is it just collectives just paying these kids to participate at this or that college? We don't have that. Again, we don't have those resources. We can't compete with that. So the little guy is pushed aside, because now when it comes down to, is this guy going to choose this college or that college, we can't compete with anteing up to make sure that kid is compensated like he wants to be compensated. And I want these kids to start back focusing on the NFL and not the NIL. Now you have kids not even thinking about the wonderful job that Coach Saban has done and the track record that he's accumulated, but or the position coach, or does this scheme fit him? They're thinking about NIL. So if the money fits, I go there. And that's not the way to attack this thing, because the NFL is what's going to sustain you and maintain you, not the NIL.
Listen, this was already a difficult job that both of you had as head coaches at this level. And as much as there's positive and people are happy and kids are getting paid, this is even tougher now, your job, because of NIL. So we'll keep track of all that as it evolves. Deion, you're only 55. You got a good 20 years left, right?
First of all, I just want everything after the comma. I want everything after the comma but Coach Saban. Coach Saban is our magna cum laude. He's our guy. You wouldn't question Michael Jordan. You don't question LeBron when they're given a contract of this standard and this status. We should never question him. I love what he's doing. I love the bar that he set. And every opportunity that I get to sit with him on this wonderful Aflac set, I'm gleaning from him just some of the fruit and the nuggets that he's able to spit to me. So I'm thankful. I'm happy. Well deserved. No one, I wish I would catch anybody saying anything about a contract that Coach Saban has warranted. He is the GOAT.
Not one person is debating how valid it is that Coach Saban got this deal. Listen, thank you.
Here are some things that I observed from this interview. First off, Coach Prime. He talked about last year's Celebration Bowl loss, and he alluded to the preparation needs to be better. He was jokingly pointing out if they go to, meaning JSU, the Celebration Bowl again, that he needs to lock the hotel doors. Jokingly, of course. And there's a reason why he said that. Let's keep it 1,000. Before the Celebration Bowl, I'm sure these players are turning up, having fun in the A, Atlanta. And I have no problem with having fun. But it has to be after the game, especially when you win the game. When you win the matchup, when you ball out, you deserve to have fun. No one's going to trip if you win a homecoming or any matchup and you want to party. You're in college. You want to live the college experience. We're all for that, for those who are listening. But don't do it before the game. And that's what Coach Prime is preaching, consistency. Not just in the game, but days before the game. That Celebration Bowl was the best thing that happened to Jackson State. Now they're more focused. They hired a new offensive coordinator, Brett Bartolone, who I'm hearing is doing an excellent job, a new strength and conditioning coach, and Coach Sims, who's assistant strength and conditioning coach at Georgia. The players are bigger, faster, and stronger. Matter of fact, countless of people have told me if the 2022 roster played against 2021, they'll beat the mess out of them. They have all told me this. Now to Nick Saban. He has his team motivated. And he brought up the fourth quarter against Georgia and how they had an 18-13 lead and squandered it. And that they look at that game as motivation to springboard their 2022 season. For the Texas Longhorns, you better pray, because I don't think Alabama's going to take you lightly. I'll just say that. Now fast forward to NIL. Here's where people are going to disagree with me, but it's okay. We all have a different opinion. When Coach Prime and Nick Saban talked about the NIL and players can lose their focus, I think that's a stereotype. I think that's just assuming that when you get money, you're not going to work as hard. There's so many athletes I have contacted me that when we talk about NIL, they tell me all the time that they can focus on football. They don't have to work multiple jobs. They don't have to worry about their family not having certain things. They could focus on their playbook and school. And before NIL, they had to focus on their job. They had to focus on, and that would be multiple jobs, by the way, school, their homework, playbook, trying to get playing time, you name it. So now they can relax and enjoy the college experience. I'm for player empowerment. And I'm for these young brothers and sisters getting that dough. That's how I grew up, man. I grew up in people being able to make their money. Legally, of course, but you get what I mean. But when Coach Prime talked about we can't compete with that, we don't have collectives. You can have a collective if you meet with your alumni. Now, I don't know how close the JSU alumni is to Coach Prime, but I know that Grambling has an icon collective, and their recruiting has increased tenfold. So it is possible. It may not and probably will not be as close to Alabama, Georgia, Texas, and many others. But there are so many successful HBCU alums. Will Packer went to FAMU. I'm sure if he started a FAMU collective, I don't know if they're doing it now or will do in the future. Let me know, FAMU fans. That would be great. So it is possible. But in the NIL world, you got to be creative. As for Coach Saban, I don't know why in the hell he's talking. He's making the most money as a head coach in college football history, and he's complaining how these young athletes are getting their money, and it's all an ego thing. When Texas A&M had the #1 recruiting class, and I know most of it is from their NIL collective, let's be honest, but still, it sounded like player hating. And then he had that ridiculous comment dissing HBCUs, especially Jackson State, and wanted to come off as holier than thou. See, most brothers and sisters, they respect that Coach Nick Saban is a great recruiter, has had a talented team for years, and has won. But in their eyes, some of them don't even think he's the best head coach of all time. Remember, at Michigan State, he didn't win as much. Once he had talent around him, he won. See, I've seen head coaches who have done with less and still have won. In the NFL, he didn't do a great job. Did a horrible job. And people don't bring this up. Now he wants to point out they need to put stipulations and other crap into the NIL. Because he wants to be king of the throne and wants to be #1 the whole time. That's the problem. That's the problem with Coach Saban. It's all ego-driven. I know Coach Prime was giving him respect and all that stuff, but we don't forget what he said. But shout out to Coach Prime, man. Keep doing your thing, my brother. Keep changing the game for HBCUs, but I wanted to point that out. And let's do more of these. I like having to break down an interview and give my opinion. I think it's fun. If you have an opinion, leave it in the comment section. All opinions are welcome as long as you are respectful. Then it's all good. Peace and blessings, and have a blessed day.